All right, Xfinity at New Hampshire. So here's my settings. I'm not going to touch the brake bias. I don't think I need it anymore. I might even go up if I were to change it, but I think 65 is about where I want it to be. Steering offset, I like +2 in the Xfinity car, but that's comfort based. So is steering ratio. New Hampshire, I like 14-1, just because the corners allow me or make me steer a little bit more than some of the bigger ovals do. So this track has really little grip compared to other times that we've been here, probably because of the track temperature. It can be somewhere in the 110s probably, but you never know. But this test session, for instance, is at like 117 or something like that. So this is probably going to be a second lap hot lap, but I'm going to run both laps just because the run up doesn't really matter. Or it matters, but the line that you're taking is going to run up anyways. So I start up high, cut down to the middle, try to gain a lot of speed here. So don't overdrive here, so early braking. Want to aim just about so we're at the top patch, but then we turn down, try to make it a pretty straight exit here. Nice. Turn 3, you want to overdrive even less, so I'm going to brake early, get a little bit lower, let the car drift up a little bit, get the car to pivot, then try to get on the gas early. Nice. We'll try a second lap, but that's probably going to be the lap there. I'm going to do a little bit earlier brake here. Get that car to stick up here. Nice. A little bit more grip on that second lap, but then you see on exit, I can't quite get as aggressive on the throttle. And here, a little bit lower. We can try that higher line too, but you see how much my car slides that big corner there? It makes me a little bit nervous to enter a little bit higher, especially when I'm just pushing for speed. So it looks like our lap 1 is going to be our lap, which I felt like that was a good lap. So let's take a look here. So yeah, 116 track temperature. We'll go to that lap 1 there. And we'll go to the run up on it. So I get all the way up. Really early braking to get here. I just want to get the car to make that pivot as early as possible, because once I do that, I can just like make a straight line out of all of New Hampshire because of how flat it is. Little loose moment there. But alright, I'm braking between the 2 and 3 it looks like. I don't really use markers here, but it can be helpful because it does seem a little bit ambiguous at times. So New Hampshire, I'm going to do what I call my short track braking. So I'm going to brake at 50-60% while I'm in a straight line. So from the 3 to the 2, then I start turning my wheel in right after the 1 it looks like. And then as I turn in my wheel, I have to let go of the brake. That's a requirement. So let go to about that 10 to 20% trail brake, and then just use the steering wheel to guide myself through the corner. Car should stick on this seam here if you do that, and then you rotate the car under throttle. Get as much rotation as you can. Let the car come down as far as it wants to, but you don't have to bring it to the yellow line because it's New Hampshire. It's kind of a wide for what it is, kind of weird. So basically, you just let the car tell you where it wants to go. Right. And so as I can bring up my gas, I unload my steering wheel. 3 and 4 is going to be a similar story, but just there's less grip on entry for some reason. So because of that, I do my same braking point, and I do a lesser amount of braking just because any wheel input on this lesser grip end just kicks out the rear a lot easier. So I'm a little bit more hesitant on the braking, still go for that trail brake, and then the car is going to want to come up the track, but it stuck pretty well compared to some other times, and then rotate that car under half throttle, unload the steering wheel, and go full throttle. So again, don't go full throttle until you can unload the steering wheel. Don't go too much brake with any steering input or else you'll lock up or spin out. And then you trail brake until the car bites, and you go back into your partial throttle, and then again, wait for that full throttle. Okay. Talk about long run here. So the lines are going to be pretty similar. New Hampshire on iRacing usually is that kind of single lane group type thing, except for every once in a while you can like cut the apron, which is super interesting, but this is not the track temperature, or really even the car to do that in. So what I'm just trying to do is minimize the amount that my tires are sliding. So I'm just going to be a lot more patient on everything. I'm not going to be forcing quite as much of anything. So earlier on the braking, so probably around the 3 this time, I would trail brake, and then just hold that trail brake till it rotates, and then just hold that partial throttle, let it come down. Or you see where I lose all of my time to my hot lap is going to be on exit, because on exit I was setting up that corner so that I could push the exit as hard as possible. But we don't really need to do that in a long run setting. So I'm just a lot more conservative on getting back to throttle, because that's where you can get into a lot of trouble, not even in that moment, but just setting up for that moment, just knowing that you're going into a corner, really trying to go hard on the throttle. That can cause you to overdrive, and overdriving is one of the worst things you can do at New Hampshire here. Very easy to overdrive too, because it's very inviting, the corner, and then it's just like, wait, nope, it's a flat corner. It might be a wide corner, but it's a flat corner, so it's not very inviting. I like running this top lane, kind of aiming for the seam, taking it wherever my car wants to go. Some people will run more towards the bottom. I think that you can make a lot of lines work in New Hampshire just because everything's so flat. I think it doesn't matter where you end up. I think it's about all those fundamentals. Are you trying to overdrive the corner? Are you sliding your tires at any point in the corner? That's what's going to matter. Where you end up on the track, like if you watch this, I can early brake and like end up towards the bottom even, right? Now I'm not going to get a run off this corner, but that's pretty much the same lap time as I was running up top. Maybe a little slower. It looks really good until it doesn't, right? And then that's the problem, is that when you run that bottom lane, you're going to be really tempted to just power through it, and that's when you get into trouble. So if you're running the bottom, you got to be even more disciplined on getting back on throttle. Tires should wear fairly evenly here if you're not sliding the right rear, because the speeds that we're going at aren't huge to put the right front under a ton of load. But there is a lot of kind of movement up and down the track that can shred the tires. Unavoidable in a way, unless you want to underdrive the car to a point where you're not going to be competitive, and that's the point where I'm usually out in terms of that sort of tire saving. We'll go take a look at the tires here, but yeah, you can run whatever line you want, really. That top line is going to probably be the best. That middle line is going to be good too, but it's all about just not overdriving the corner entries. So a little bit more on the right front. That tells me that I can be holding my trail brake a little bit longer, being a little more patient. The right rear, if you kick it out too much, it can wear even more than that and heat it up too much. You don't want the right rear to be similar temperatures to the right front, usually. But yeah, other than that, thank you all for watching. Hope you have a wonderful day. Hope to see you all on the track.